Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. We're here with another Hunter x Hunter breakdown and review, and this time we're covering episode 85, 86, and 87, right from where we left off. And we've got a lot to talk about because honestly, these episodes felt super long and so much happened in them. And I'm really excited to talk about them. So, without further ado, let's just jump into it. Episode 85 kicks off with Neferpito and Ramo gathering all of the Chimera Ant squad leaders and officers, and basically they're going to use Ramo as the catalyst to open all of their aura nodes. We jump over back to Gon, Kite, and Killua, and they're still tracking the Chimera Ants we saw in the last episode. And it turns out that Kite can keep kind of a 45 meter bubble of Nen around him and sense everything that enters it without ever actually having to see it. Now, apparently, according to Killua, most master level Nen users can do about 50 meters, so he's just short of that. But then he realizes that he's been doing this all night, the entire time they've been traveling. So he realizes that Kite is actually above master level. Gon and Killua start going back and forth and talking about all the people they've met, all the people that have helped them get stronger. Every time they needed somebody, somebody was there to help them. Wing, Biscuit, Razor, and Kite is stronger than all of them. So it really kind of puts in perspective how powerful Kite is supposed to be. And Killua realizes that after everything they've been through, that Greed Island really was Jean's way of training Gon. Us as viewers, we know that if he had used Magnetic Force to go by himself, he actually would have went straight to Jean after finishing Greed Island. Whereas because he brought Killua, he went to Kite. So now they think that Kite was actually supposed to train them, which, I mean, it's kind of weird when you think about it, but my guess is that if Gon thought himself strong enough to go by himself, then he should have went to Jean. But if he needs to bring somebody with him, then he's still obviously not strong enough, so that's why we send him to Kite. That's probably what Jean's thinking was. Maybe I'm wrong. Now, Kite cuts in and it tells them that while it's probably the case that Jean wanted Kite to train them, he's not going to do it. He has no time to do it while they're in the situation that they're in. But obviously, they're surrounded by hostile and enemy. They're all pretty strong. They can gain strength by fighting these enemies. But if they lose, then they die. Sorry. We also get to find something interesting about the hunters. Turns out they have a kind of credo. And it goes like this. He says, those who call themselves hunters should always be on the hunt. We've met a million different kinds of hunters. We've met gourmet hunters. We've met the blacklist hunters. We've met beast hunters, magical beast hunters, and they should always be looking for the next hunt. You know, there should never be time for them to stagnate. And that's really interesting to think about because a hunter should always be on their next adventure. Kite stops them after a little while and shows Gon this. Turns out that Kite has Jean's hunter license. And when Kite started his journey to find Jean, Jean gave him his hunter license and said, when you find me, give this back. I guess when he met up with Jean, he forgot that he had it. Well, now he's giving it to Gon, and now it's going to be Gon's job to give it back to his father once he finds him. We cut back over to the Chimera Ants, and we see Ramo punching a bunch of people in the face. And he's just calling up the next guy, just loving it. He's the superpowered one, and he's making everybody else stronger. We go over to Pito, and we see his ears kind of spike up as he senses something coming over. Real quick, I want to apologize. I know in my last episode I kept calling Pito a she. Well, through my own research and the way they refer to him in the next few episodes, Pito's apparently a boy. I didn't realize it. He does look kind of feminine. Don't worry, it won't happen again. Moving on. Pito senses something coming, and he goes and leaves. When Penguin Chimera Ant asks him where he's going, he says, I'm going to see how strong I am. And at the same time, Kite senses Pito and realizes they're in deep trouble. So he tries to send Gon and Killua away. And as he's doing that, Pito sees him. And we see Pito flex his thigh muscles and jump at super speed right at them. They're like stupid far. They're easily miles away from the castle, and Pito is able to cross that distance in an instant. At the same time, while Kite's trying to get Gon and Killua to leave, Pito flies by and rips off Kite's arm. And I kind of freaked out. And so did Gon. Gon saw Kite, saw the bloodied arm on the ground, saw Neferpito, and immediately started spazzing out and was going to go after Pito. And as soon as he did that, Killua knocks him out. Because even Killua knows they stand no chance against Pito. And if they don't run, he's going to kill them. So he picks up Gon, leaves. And you know what's crazy is that Pito didn't even bother to look at them after that. Because Pito and Killua knew it. That between a one-armed Kite and Gon and Killua, the only one that was even remotely a threat was Kite. So Kite summons his crazy slots, pulls out, makes a weapon, and he goes even with one arm to fight Pito. We don't actually get to see what happens there, and it kind of pissed me off that we didn't. But it is what it is. We get to see Killua carry Gon all the way down the mountain, all the way out the forest, all the way to the border of the NGL, all the way to the embassy where they entered. He gets there with Gon, he puts Gon down, he makes a call, tells other people what's going on. Turns out they're already on their way with the reinforcements. And out of the truck, we got our boy Netero squatted up with two new characters. The one on the left's name is Moro, the one on the right's name is Nove, and apparently they're both Master Nen users. All about equal to Netero's current level. I guess Netero's definitely fallen from his prime. At least that's what they say. Killua, with all his experience in Nen, looks at them and says, you know, he can gauge how strong they are. But even as strong as the three of them are, they're no match for Neferpito. And he gets a speech from Moro, basically telling him that, you know, power levels aren't all there is to Nen combat, and he isn't qualified to judge somebody's strength just because of the fact that he was so scared that he ran away. Before they leave to go into the NGL, Netero tosses these tiles to Killua and says that they left 2 assassins in the nearby city, and that if they want to come join them, they have to kill those 2 assassins, take their tiles, and then they'll be considered strong enough to come help. Because if a bunch of people come help, even Nen users, if they're not strong enough to actually help, they risk being assimilated into the Chimera Ants, which means they'll just make the Chimera Ants even stronger. Which is what happened with Poco. Poco was a decently powerful Nen user. All of his knowledge, all of his power ended up integrated into the Chimera Ants because they used them and then they ate them. We go over to our hotel where Gon is still knocked out. Killua is lost in thought, and Gon wakes up. Gon tells Killua, "Thank you for knocking me out. I was going to do something stupid. If I had tried to fight that monster, we all would have been killed." Killua is still, lost in himself. He's like, "We left Kite to die," and Gon tells him Kite's not dead. He is still alive. There's no way he would be killed by that thing. He's probably in a rough shape and probably hiding, waiting for us to come back and save him. And that, Gon is still the bright character that we've all known and love, and he's still what helps keep Killua going. I was very confused at this point because, as far as I knew, it was the death of Kite that triggered Gon's transformation. Well, the next scene we see is Pito with Kite's dismembered head in her lap. So Kite's dead. Gon wasn't there for it. Gon is, sure, he's going to find out later, but it's like, he's experienced other people dying. It's like, they haven't been together that long. Is that really what makes him snap? Or is there more to it? I don't actually know. So I'm excited to keep going because I thought I knew what was going to happen. Now I don't. I didn't expect Kite to die this early. Now, the episode ends with that last scene of Pito and Kite. And now on to the next episode. Gon and Killua had gotten a message on a chalkboard basically challenging them to a fight. They agree to it. And when they go to check the message has been erased because somebody read it. And now we get to meet another new character named Palm. Turns out she is one of Nove's pupils. There we go. That's what I'm looking for. After Killua explains to Gon what they have to do to get back into the NGL, they start trying to come up with a plan. Gon kind of wants to go out and immediately fight these guys, but Killua explains that he saw one of them on the street because he was already yelling for the challenge. Guy's kind of silly like that, and he could already tell how much stronger he is than them. Plus, they don't know his Nen ability, so he thinks they should wait until they're stronger. Plus, try to learn his ability so they can make a plan. Gon explains to him, yeah, we should get stronger, but we can't always plan for everybody's Nen ability because we're gonna get into fights where we don't know what their abilities are, and that's gonna happen. And we have to be able to fight anybody who comes our way. We get to see a shot of the two guys. This is one of them. This is Knuckle. The other one's name is Shoot. We actually don't get to see a real good shot of him until the end of the next episode. So we'll get there. As Killua and Gon are talking about how they want to beat them, they have a month to do this. Gon wants to do it in a week. And as soon as they go into their room, the door busts open and Gon gets punched in the head. Killua makes a face like, oh my god, what's happening? And Biscuit's back with a brand new hairstyle and she looks adorable. And Biscuit's gonna get back to training them, and I was so about it. We jump back over and we get to see this. And this is freaking me out. Because I guess Pitou had a really good fight with Kite and wanted to preserve his body and has him in a block of ice. All he keeps saying is how he wishes he could fight Kite again. And that is bugging me out. Now, as part of their training, Biscuit wants them to be able to use Ren for 3 hours straight. It turns out the max they've ever been able to do it, I think Killua said it was like 55 minutes. So they flex their Ren as long as they can. They don't even make it an hour. They keep on trying because they're trying to push to get as strong as they can, as fast as they can, until eventually they pass out. Biscuit literally tells them that they're going to get 30 minutes and then they're going to be up again. And we actually get to see the whole point of Biscuit's Nen ability. We saw it in Greed Island, but she never actually used it. And she summons it and basically has it massage and relax Gon and Killua. You can see that when they fall asleep, they're all messed up, exhausted, and this rejuvenates them. Basically heals them. Now, we jump over to Netero and crew, and they're talking about what they're going to do to, what's their plan to deal with the Chimerians. Well, Netero's able to actually see Pitou way off in the distance, and Pitou's just sitting there with his eyes closed, just, feeling out everything. And we get to see an example of how big his N is, and it blows Kite out the water. And even Netero says at his current level, he can't beat Pitou. The other two kind of laugh it off. You must be joking, because if Netero can't beat him, no hunter can. Well, we get to see these guys' Nen ability. Turns out Noah can open portals to another dimension, and out of it he pulls what looks like a giant stick, but it's for this guy. It's a giant pipe for this guy, for Moro's Nen ability. And Moro, I guess, can manipulate the smoke he makes with it. So it looks like one's a conjurer and one's a manipulator. But he makes a bunch of smoke bunnies and basically sends them off to survey the area. As the smoke bunnies enter into Pitou's end, Pitou feels it and is wondering how he should react. And then we get to see a new one of the Royal Guard. Shawapoof. I think that's how I said that. He basically looks like a butterfly man and can read minds, because he's able to read Pitou's mind immediately. And Shawapoof basically says we don't have to act at all. Even if they get near here, then we'll worry about them. They can do whatever they want. They're not strong enough to handle us. And Shawapoof says that the last of the Royal Guard, Mon-Tutu-Yupi, what a name, that Mon-Tutu-Yupi is going to be up soon too. And then we'll have the 3 Royal Guards all ready to just kill everybody. Now, we go back over to Gon and Killua, and they're still training, exhausted. And right when they're going to drop, Biscuit kind of gives them a kick in the pants. Basically tells them, you guys want to go back to the NGL. You want to save your friend Kite. You need to work harder. And Gon and Killua are not only get back up, they're able to push even harder past their limits, because they know that they're doing this for Kite. In their mind, they're trying to get back and save their friend. And even Biscuit is shocked at the effort they're putting in. We go back over to the Chimera Ants, and we see something kind of crazy. Pito, we know Pito's a specialist because of what happened of the water divination in the previous episode, and Pito starts talking about how he keeps on talking about Kite's body and how he wishes he could fight Kite again, and Pito's just like, it's so simple. All I have to do is fix him. So I'll make an ability where I can fix him. I don't know what's happening. I don't want to know. You already killed him. Don't do something stupid. Now, episode 87 was kind of like the fastest episode because it was more action than anything. It starts off with the queen sitting there. This is the first time that she actually has the egg like attached to her, and this is supposed to be the king. All the other eggs she kind of just spit out and hung up on a wall, and she has to eat the equivalent of 250 balls of human meat a day to be able to power the king. Now, Gon and Killua hit their 3-hour mark, and now as the next step of their training, they're going to fight Knuckle even while exhausted. Knuckle, I guess, has been going out every night waiting for his challengers. They find Knuckle, and they're still trying to flex their aura, but even he can tell that they're dead tired. So Knuckle tells them, you know what? Obviously, they have underestimated me. Obviously, I'm not a big deal to them, so I'm going to let you hit me. Like, Knuckle's so pissed off and so powerful compared to them that this is how they feel looking at him. He tells them, go ahead and hit me. No matter what you do, I don't need to block it. That's how much stronger I am than you. Well, Gon decides to use his judge again. And he hits this dude so hard that he knocks him the F out. He wakes up the next day to them training and basically explains that he underestimated him. That was his mistake. His little puppy, there's a puppy that was like bothering him while he was waiting out there. It shows up. They realize, they start to become friends. Gon asks him why he became a beast hunter. Well, not necessarily that, but why he wanted to join the extermination team. And apparently he doesn't want the Chimerians to be exterminated. He doesn't think it's fair. He doesn't think you should be able to, you should just kill off an entire species just because they're different. Which is true. But these things are monsters that are eating people. He thinks you should be able to fight it first to judge on its character. So him and Gon are pretty similar. Killua thinks you do that, you're gonna die. They all share a meal together, and they all start talking about fighting more. We get another scene of Kite, now no longer in ice, but in some kind of tube filled with liquid. And you can see from the picture that he's got stitches on his arms and legs. And I'm just like, what is Pito doing to this guy? Like, we get to see what their actual plan was, what Netero's plan was for the Chimerians. Basically, Moro is making a giant smoke screen with his smoke. And while everybody can't see, Nova is pulling them into another dimension where they're left alone with Netero, and he just slaughters them. And that's how they've been dealing with the Chimerians one by one. So they're dwindling down their forces one by one without much effort. Colt starts to realize there's something going on. He goes to Pito for advice on what to do. Pito says, I'll worry about the inside of the castle, you worry about the outside of the castle. I'm busy. And Colt looks at the chain of command, starts thinking about all the different squads, and realizes that majority of the squads that are left don't give a shit. They just do what they want. So Colt decides he's going to use all of these unruly squads as bait while he sets a trap for the 3 that are attacking everybody. Colt, from the get-go, has been the smart one. We cut back over to Gon and Killua, finishing off a day's worth of training, because they have to do that 3 hours of Ren every single day, and then go fight Knuckle again. So they're going to fight Knuckle again, and when they get there, the fight starts, and we actually get to see what Knuckle can do. Gon and Killua rush him. Killua goes low, Gon goes high. He blocks Gon's punch, jumps over Killua. Killua slides under him, pushes himself off the ground and tries to kick him, and Knuckle, being so ill, literally blocks Killua's kick with a kick and pushes Killua away. He starts going back and forth with Gon a little bit, basically throws him at Killua, and he knows how exhausted they are, and as exhausted as they are, they're still coming at him. if they can manage to beat him, he even knows that their renewed sense of confidence will help them push past where they are now and become much, much stronger. But the problem with that is they have to beat him, and he's not going to let them win. Well, while they're all fighting, it turns out that the other assassin is off in the trees watching the fight. This is where we get to meet Shoot. And Shoot says that his best chance to get them and to take their tiles would be while they're going home. You know, done with training, done with fighting, exhausted. And that's where the episode ends, on a little bit of a cliffhanger with Shoot planning to go after them. Like I said, a lot happened in these episodes. We got to see a lot of new characters. We got to see the Hunter Association and starting to enact their plan. We got to see Kite unfortunately fall and Pito doing God knows what to him. I'm excited to keep going with the arc. We still haven't met the king yet, but it's getting there pretty quick. He was already inside the queen's belly, like moving around. But that's it for me, guys. I hope you enjoyed this breakdown, and I will catch you on the next episode. Later.